Welcome, everybody, to Read the Line Celebrity Insider Show. And oh my goodness, do I have a celebrity this week? I have from ESPN, Anita Marks, and we are on the mark. There's no doubt about that. Professional football handicapper, golf handicapper, just hostess to the limits. Unbelievable. I'm so excited to have her this week for us at Read the Line. Anita, how are you doing? Such a pleasure for you to take the time.
Are you kidding? Two of my favorite things, handicapping and betting on golf and football. And we're heading into week 5 of the NFL season, and I've done quite well. And unfortunately, when football is king, right? So
Yeah.
for us at ESPN, because everybody is so into football, golf has taken the back seat. So I'm just, you reached out, and I'm thrilled to be on with you because I love handicapping golf as well, and I haven't had a chance to do it in the last few weeks. So it's great to be on with you.
Well, hey, if I'm going to have an expert handicapper on, right? If we're going to get to a sharp like you, it's got to be Vegas week, right? Vegas, baby. Vegas, right? So let's get right into this. We're going to TPC Summerlin. We've played there since 2008. That's what? This is the 15th time in a row or something like that. Tigers won there. Very cool golf course. What's your first impression when you start to look at TPC Summerlin, right? What do you like about the golf course, and what do you think the guys need to do in order to contend this week?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's in Vegas. That's great, right? So weather conditions are going to be great, especially this time of year, right? Like we're getting into fall. It's not like going to be like 150 degrees and 100, where you're going to have to put on chapstick every hole, every tee box. But one thing that we do know about this course is that it's like one of the lowest scoring courses on tour. So.
Yes.
So when I was handicapping for this today, I went to a few sites trying to find out like the what is the winning score going to be, over, under, and it's not out there yet. So first things first, if as we get closer to Thursday, if you can find that, then play the under, because this is going to be a really, really low score. Winners come in 20 under or less. I mean, that's how low scoring this is going to be this weekend. So that was one thing I was looking at. That hasn't hit yet, but large bent grass greens, hot putter absolutely necessary, wide Bermuda grass fairways. I mean, this is a dude who can like grip it and rip it and doesn't have to worry about where it's going to land, right? Like it's just like you're not going to get penalized here. It's a shame. Bryson DeChambeau doesn't play on the tour anymore. I think this would be a perfect golf course for him. I think your short game is going to be crucial. Scrambling is going to be important. As we know, Sanjay M won last year, and he finished first in scrambling. So I think short game is as exciting as I think it's going to be for these guys to grip it, rip it. Very favorable fairways. What's going to win it is the short game. I was reading from somewhere like 175 to 180 out. And then a solid putter is what's going to win it for you this week.
Well, there's no doubt about it. If you can keep it on anything that's green at TPC Summerlin, you have a good chance to score. You hit it in the desert, that's going to be a problem. But only 4 holes have water. For the most part, they're at 2,000 feet above sea level. So even the shorter guys, the Ryan Moores of the world and those guys, Kevin Nas, that's why they've competed well here. Jim Furyk's, because they'll hit the ball further than they normally do. And then the longer guys will hit it even longer. So, I mean, I think I'm definitely with you. Off the tee, I want it in play. And one of the things that was interesting to me, because this is such a birdie fest, is why around the green is so important. So it must be scoring on par 5s. It must be some of these short par 4s. And they categorize those shots as scrambling shots because they're 50, 60, 70-yard pitches. Because at the end of the day, if you're missing greens, you're not making birdies. So I really think we got to look at the scrambling statistics, and there's no doubt about it. If you want to go 20 under par, you got to have a hot putter. And Vegas is a good time to have a hot putter. There's no doubt about that. So let's jump real quick. Seems like you have a good idea, maybe who you're targeting, right? We've got almost best field so far of the year, third weekend, the PGA Tour season. We're a couple weeks removed from the President's Cup. We got 10 of those guys here of the 24. Patrick Cantlay's the favorite. He plays good there. Would you bet Patrick, or who else do you like on the chalk?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go chalk here because it is Cantlay, right? And you could get that at 6-1 to win. You could also get him to finish in the top 5 at plus 120. He is the king here. He averages his rounds here. He averages a 66. California guy. As we know, he's won here before, 2 bridesmaid finishes. His worst finish here was tied for 8th last year. Data Golf, which I love that website, by the way. I'm assuming you utilize it as well in your handicapping. 10.2% chance of winning. So I like Can't Lay a lot. You want me to just go through? I have 4 guys that I'm gonna be laying some coin on. You want me to go through all 4 guys?
We don't want to wait. Anita, give them to us.
Okay. All right. I'm also going to go Hoagie to finish in the top 5 at 10-1. Also finish in the top 10 at plus 450. He's played well since July. Tied for 7th here before back in 2018. His worst finish here was tied for 24th. He's got a 64% chance of making the cut with Data Golf. In 5 of the last 6 times he's teed off here, he's made the cut. Denny McCarthy as well. And you get the same odds with him to finish in the top 5 and top 10. Good start to the season, and let's be honest, one of the best putters in the world, not just in the United States, but in the world, and his short game is going to thrive. And a long shot here, Burmester. I like him to finish in the top 20 at plus 230. He finished 4th last Sunday, 62% shot of making the cut. Although, and the reason I've got him in the top 20 is this will be his first time on this track. But I think at plus 230, I think those are some good odds that he can finish in the top 20.
Hey, he was 4th last week. I predicted him last week, top 40. He blew that out of the water. I took him in a couple head-to-heads over the weekend, live betting. He took down Emiliano Grillo on Sunday. I mean, the guy is a stud. He got in his PGA Tour card because he went to Korn Ferry Tour Finals. I mean, the guy's playing good right now. I love the Dean Burmester pick. McCarthy, top 40 last week. If you're picking a putter, there's nobody better, right? I mean, so I think a lot of what you've picked there and you've outlined for your card makes tons of sense to me. I love where you're going there, but you know what? I would be remiss, Anita, if I didn't ask you for maybe a couple of football leans for my readers here at Read the Line, because I know you know, and I already know you're having a hot season. So what should we tail you on this weekend when it comes to Sunday?
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I were having the conversation before we started rolling, and you were asking me what does my card look like outside of football season? Very different, right? Like in regard to golf. Again, I'm playing winners. I'm playing top 5, top 10, top 20, top 40. I'm playing a lot of matchups, first round matchup, tournament matchups. So I'm all over it. But there's only so much time in the day, right? And and again, like I said, football is king. So I'm gonna play. I might even play a little parlay here, where like can't lay to win the tournament, and then I'll tee it up, no pun intended, with a few of these NFL picks. And I'm gonna start with the Miami Dolphins. Right now, they're favored by 3, taking on the Jets. I think this line should be more, but the Jets just got done beating the Pittsburgh Steelers with Zach Wilson. And also I think people are underestimating Teddy Bridgewater, which I like to call him Teddy Covers. 24-6 against the spread on the road. So I just, I think because...
I'm writing this down.
Because the Pittsburgh Steelers made that quarterback change. Kenny Pickett came in. He tossed 3 interceptions. Granted, he ran 2 touchdowns in, but nonetheless, when you turn the ball over like that, you give the Jets an opportunity to score some points. And without TJ Watt, that Pittsburgh defense is not what they typically are. So anyway, I do like the Dolphins. And again, I do believe that the line is not what it should be, because I think odds makers are underestimating Teddy Bridgewater. The Vikings, -6.5 against the Bears. Here's something really interesting for you. So the Vikings and the Saints played in London this past week.
Yep.
The Saints went there and they spent the entire week there to get ready for the game. The Vikings valued this game against their division opponent, the Bears, more so than the Saints. So they went the day before. They were in London for just a little over 24 hours. They did not want to get the Minnesota Vikings players acclimated to the London time zone. They wanted to get in, hopefully win, which they did, and get out. So, if you could get this line at -6.5 and -7, I'm all over it. The Bears offense, they're just horrific. So I really like the Vikings, and I love what they did last week. Tennessee -2.5 against Washington. The honeymoon with Carson Wentz is over, and Tennessee is finally coming into their own. We saw Derrick Henry really have a great week 4 last week, this past Sunday. And, and I talk about this all the time on my radio show. Because of the collective bargaining agreement and the lack of practice time and the lack of physicality during the practice time in the preseason and training camp, it takes a good 3 to 4 weeks for us to really get to know, understand, and realize how these teams create this identity. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like Tennessee is just slow to get that engine revving, but now they're back to that Tennessee Titans team that we saw last year. So I do like Tennessee -2.5 at Washington. Also, the Detroit and Patriots over at 46.5. No Mac Jones. Not sure if he's going to play or not, but if he doesn't, Bailey Zappi is not bad. He came in third string quarterback, almost beat the Green Bay Packers this past week. And Detroit hoping to get DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown back offensively. So I like the over in that game at 46.5. I think it's low right now. I mean, this is a Detroit Lions team. They're averaging 30 points a game. And now you're telling me 46.5? Why not? I'm all over that. And last but not least, keep an eye on this Bengals-Ravens game. I really love the Bengals. If that line goes up to 3.5, if you can get it with that hook with 3.5. This is a Ravens secondary. They're 23rd in pass defense. And this is, again, going back to, slow progression in regard to teams creating that identity and what they are. And keep in mind, Joe Burrow had his appendix removed right before the season started. So now I think what we're seeing Cincinnati kind of coming to their own. We're seeing Joe Burrow feeling good about himself. That offense is rolling. And now you go up against a Ravens team and a secondary that's not good. So I like the Bengals getting the hook at +3.5. So probably what I'll do is I'll take Cantlay, right, to win this bad boy this week. And I'll parlay it with a few of these NFL plays that I have. That's probably what my card's going to look like.
Well, I'll tell you, after all that, I'm sure you won't be the only one parlaying those. Anita, you are the absolute best. And if I've learned anything this week, I'm going to Vegas. I'm taking my chapstick.
There you go.
Sure. That's right. And obviously I'm picking Patrick Cantlay. But you know what? I know you got to run. You got to get back to ESPN, more NFL. And we will get back with you in the spring when golf is a little bit more front and center. And you are on the tee, ESPN radio every Sunday morning, talking about golf and doing that. Can't thank you enough, Anita. You are the best.
So great to be with you. And anytime you let me know, I'd love to come back on.